Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 5G. This is the latest folding phone flagship from Samsung. Now this comes in at $1,799 and goes up to $1,899 and comes in 256 or 512 gigabytes of storage. This is the 256 gigabyte variant. It also comes in Phantom Black, Phantom Green, and Phantom Silver. This is the silver model. So let's go ahead and unbox it. So I've got my unboxing knife here. Unbox it here. Cut the little plastic, and let's go ahead and put the knife away and open this up. So we'll take the top of the box off, and you can see the phone here. So we'll set this aside and take a closer look in just a moment, and let's see what comes in the box. So nothing else, just this little pamphlet here, and inside, let's see what we've got. So we've got a USB-C to USB-C charge cable, and there is no charger included, although they do give you quite a few points if you order it from Samsung to get a free charger with it. So I was able to get a free charger and a wireless charger trio as well. So you have those, or you can get something else as well, such as Samsung Galaxy Buds. Now if we take this out of the box, you'll see we have a quick start guide, and we have Samsung Galaxy Z Premier service, and that is all. No warranty cards or anything else, and nothing else is in the box. On the back, we do have a SIM card ejector tool. So let's go ahead and set these aside. Now also, this supports S Pen support, so I was able to get a free case with it, again with those Samsung pre-order points. So we'll take a closer look at that in a little bit. Now as far as the phone itself, let's go ahead and take the wrapper off it. There we go, and here is the phone itself. So on the back, you can see it's got that silver color. Let me go ahead and close it, and you can see what it looks like. It sort of has a pinkish hue if I move it around in the light, but it is a silver color. Now, as far as the overall design, let's take a closer look. Now this is supposed to be IPX8 certified, so you can get it wet, although I wouldn't swim with it. You can get it wet. On the front, we have a new display that has Gorilla Glass Victus on it and pre-installed screen protectors. You can see that a little bit around the camera edge there. On the back, you can see we have a nice sort of chrome look to it, and it is a little bit thinner than last year. So you can see on the bottom, we have a USB-C port, as well as our microphone and then a speaker. On the side, we've got our power sleep wake button that also acts as a fingerprint reader. We've got a volume rocker, and then it looks like we've got a millimeter wave antenna here and our SIM card tray. Let's go ahead and remove the SIM card tray here and see what we've got. And so depending on where you live, I think this is dual SIM in some places, but it does have an eSIM as well, but nothing here. Again, no expandable storage. Maybe you could use dual SIM on there, but it doesn't look like there's room for it. In some markets there may be. And then also on the back here, we have our camera array, 3 cameras with a flash, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Now the display on the outside is a 6.2-inch display, 832 by 2268, and has 120 Hertz. Now before I open this up, I just wanted to show you a size comparison. This is the S21 Ultra next to it. So it gives you an idea of overall thickness. So each individual half of the phone is a little bit thinner than the one before that we had with the Z Fold 2 and the S21 Ultra. So that's the S21 Ultra, and also if you're a Note user, it's about the thickness, maybe a little bit thinner than a Note. So the Note might be a little bit thicker, not including the camera bump on the back, but this gives you a general idea of size. The Note is a little bit taller, and also the Note's a little bit wider. So if you're familiar with those devices, just to give you a general idea. So let me set those aside and take a closer look at the phone itself. So we'll open this up, and unfolding it, the hinge feels very nice. It's a little stiffer than the previous one. So you'll see again on the top here, we have a speaker and then 3 different microphones, and it's very nice the way this opens and closes. It has a pre-installed screen protector, and then when the screen is on, it should be harder to see that little front-facing camera. Now the front display, before I turn it on, is 2208 by 1768 pixels. And it's 374 pixels per inch. Now let's go ahead and turn it on and see what we've got. So we'll boot it up here, hold the power sleep wake button. Hopefully it has a charge. There we go. It vibrated a little bit to give some haptic feedback. And internally, this has a Snapdragon 888 5G. It has 12 gigabytes of RAM, and one of the downsides this year is a smaller battery. It has a 4,400 milliamp hour battery, which for some people is not getting them through the day, but we'll have to test that out and see if it works for me. Now, before I set this up, let's take a look at the cameras because there's quite a bit to talk about here. These are not the flagship cameras we have on the S21 Ultra with the periscope zoom, but they are good cameras. A triple 12 megapixel setup. We have 26 millimeters wide, 12 millimeter ultra wide, and a 52 millimeter telephoto zoom. They can record in 4K 60 with HDR10+. So that's really nice. Now on the front or the cover camera, we have a 10 megapixel camera that's an f2.2 aperture that can record in 4K 30 with HDR. Now internally, the selfie camera is just 4 megapixels. It's more for conference calls and things like that. It's an f1.8, 4 megapixel. And you can see already, looking straight on, you can sort of see the selfie camera with the white display. Let's go ahead and set it up. So we'll hit start, and we have to agree to these, or at least some of them. We'll hit next, and we'll choose a Wi-Fi network. Now I'm connected for Wi-Fi. It's checking for updates and says getting your phone ready. This may take a few minutes. Now, as you're looking straight on at the phone, you really can't see the crease in it. However, if I turn it just off axis a little bit, you can see the crease. So it's there, but not noticeable as long as you're looking straight on at the phone and you can't even see it. You can feel it if you move your finger across it though. But this screen protector definitely feels better. It has more of a plastic / glass feel to it. It's somewhere in between. So it does feel pretty nice, and the phone feels very durable, much more durable than the previous generations in my experience. So at least the way it feels. Now, while we're waiting for this, internally, it does have Wi-Fi 802.11 AB, GN, AC, and Wi-Fi 6, but also it supports Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2. So it supports all of the latest standards. This should be a pretty nice phone to use as far as data speeds. So it's asking me if I want to copy apps and data. I'll hit don't copy for now. I can do that a little bit later if I want to. It's checking info, and now it wants me to sign in with Google. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now, once you sign in with your Google account and agree to the terms and services, it asks you to protect your phone using either face recognition, which is 2D. It's not like Face ID where it's three-dimensional. It also is asking for either fingerprints, pattern, or PIN. So we'll go ahead and use the fingerprint scanner, and it says continue. And I'll put in a PIN for security. Now it's telling me to scan my fingerprint. So we'll go ahead and do that. You'll see it's going along pretty quickly. It's nice and fast, and it's recognizing it. I do like a fingerprint sensor over a Face ID type setup. So this fingerprint sensor is really nice. You can add another finger. I don't think I'll be using it with a different finger for now. We'll go ahead and hit next. Now it says your assistant will be right with you. So we're waiting for Google Assistant. Now it's asking me to sign in with a Samsung account. I can do that a little bit later if I want to, but you have the option for all of these different Samsung things. So I'll skip it for now since it's a little bit easier to set up later. And now it's telling me how to take care of the phone. Pressing on the screen or front camera lens with a hard or sharp object, such as a pen or fingernail, may cause damage, such as scratches or dents. It's saying only use the S Pen Pro or S Pen Fold edition. Other S Pen styluses may damage the screen. Also, it says when you fold it, make sure there's nothing inside. And it also says it's not dust resistant, so exposure to small particles such as sand may cause damage, but it is IPX rated. Like I said before, it says immersion in any liquid other than fresh water, such as salt water or alcohol, can damage your phone. It also tells you not to remove the protective film and that this has magnets in it. So we'll go ahead and hit next, and it says you're all set up. So we'll go ahead and hit finish and get to the home screen. So here's the home screen, and this is just the default home screen. Let's see what apps we have. This should be Android 11. So let's go to settings, and we'll go down to software update and see what we've got. So it's connecting. We'll see what we've got for an update here. And it says couldn't download update. Let's try it again. And it says it's up to date, and it has the July 1st security update installed. So there could be one a little bit later, but that's what's installed right now. Now, if we go home and we swipe up, you'll see that we have a bunch of Samsung apps installed. And it did look a little bit slow at that point, but we did just set this up. And we have some Microsoft apps installed like you would expect. You've got Office and OneDrive and Outlook. And then you also have typical Samsung apps here and Facebook as well. If we press and hold on Facebook, we can uninstall it though. So we have the option to uninstall that if you want to, where in previous versions we couldn't sometimes. Also, if we pull out from the side, we've got our little menu bar, typical of Samsung here. And if we close this on the screen here, there we go. And it says double tap the clock to view settings. So we can double tap the clock and we've got our settings option here. And then we can use our fingerprint to unlock. So we've got this bigger screen on the front, although it is very vertical, I suppose. So you've got this big screen here. If we go to the left, we have Google News or our update here, which is nice. And we no longer have to have Bixby there. We'll tap the weather to set that up. Now, as far as the hole punch display, I wanted to share that since it sort of disappears depending on what you're doing. So if I rotate Chrome, you'll see it's there, but if you look at it straight on, it's not very noticeable to me. It is a little bit pixelated and it doesn't bother me, but it may bother some people. Now, as far as the overall quality of the cameras, I could test those in a different video, but I wanted to share the forward-facing camera since this will probably be more for something like maybe doing conference calls. So if we go into our settings, you'll see we have up to 1080p 60 here. And if I hit record, now I'm recording from the ZFold 3 forward-facing camera. It's only 4 megapixels, but I'm recording from the microphone as well. So everything's coming from the ZFold 3. The video quality is not that great, but it seems like it'll work just fine for conference calls and things like that, but I probably wouldn't use it for anything else. You've got so many other cameras, it doesn't make sense. So the display does look good. I love that it's a little bit different. I'm not so sure that I'm sold on folding displays, but let me know what you think about them in the comments below. Now, the phone overall definitely feels thick and very solid. So I'm impressed with the overall quality, the way it feels to open. And one thing that they're not doing this year is they did not release a Note. And so since we don't have a Note, we can now use an S Pen on the ZFold 3. So I thought we'd try that out. So I was able to get that. So you cannot use the pen from the Note. It's a different type of pen with a harder tip on the end. So it doesn't really give much as I push on my finger here. So let's go ahead and open up the case that has the new S Pen in it. So here's the case. It says flip cover with pen, Galaxy ZFold 3 5G, and we'll undo it here. And let's open up the case here. And it feels like it's a nice leather case, but let's see what we've got. And then here's the pen itself. So the pen is a little bit bigger than the previous pens and does not go inside. It should have a little bit more give to the tip, although this is quite a lot of pressure, but it's designed not to damage the screen. So you can see it's quite a bit of pressure as I push on it here. And then the case itself, let's see what we've got in here. So we have a little bit of an instruction booklet here that shows you how to use it and gives more information in many different languages. So we'll set this aside. And it looks like we've got some additional pen tips in here as well, as you would normally get with the S Pen. So we'll set that aside and take a closer look at the case. Now the case does feel very nice. It's got a microfiber inside, the feel there, and then you've got the pen holder right here. So it's a nice opening. It is a little bit thick, but not too bad. But let's go ahead and place the phone in it. So we'll put the phone in here like this, clips into place, and it looks like that's it. So this folds like this, and then it closes over the front. And it does not feel as though it's magnetic or anything. It just sort of flops there. So that's not very nice, but you can slide this in here like that to hold the pen, and now you've got your little folio case with it. So it feels very nice. It's very high quality feeling, but let's take the pen out and then we'll open it up like this. We'll unlock it, and now we should be able to use the pen. So you'll see it says completing setup, and let's go home and see what we've got here. So we can go into here and then maybe open an app such as the camera. So it's responding to the pen's touch. It's working just fine. And if I push on it, you'll see here I can push, and it feels like it's a lot of pressure to put on a folding screen, but I guess it's okay. Now, it doesn't have the Bluetooth remote functions that you get with the S Pen in the Note series, but you can do just about anything else. So let's see if we have the drawing app on here at all, if it's built in by default or not. So if we go in here, let's see what we've got for Samsung. We've got My Files and more. So let's go to Pen Up, Create Artwork. We'll skip. We'll agree, and now we should be able to create some new artwork. So we'll just draw here, and now we can draw. And it even has that sound of though you're writing with pencil. So that's kind of nice. It's pretty responsive too. So they've added sound effects, which is really kind of odd. But the speaker does sound quite good. Let's go into YouTube and hear what the speaker actually sounds like as well. So here's my video comparing the Note 20 Ultra with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Let's go ahead and rotate it here, and we'll expand it. There we go. And let's hear the speakers. So we'll hit OK. Let's turn it up here. Now I'll rotate the microphone so you can hear it a little bit better. That was just off axis, and it's quite loud. Now the speakers are pretty impressive, and just using this is really nice so far. I'm not crazy about the case as it just sort of flops around here. So you have to hold it like this with this extra extension out. So unless it's folded around the back like this, you're going to have to do that. Now I wanted to try out the multitasking as well. So if we go to Google, maybe we'll go to the app switcher here, and we'll open in split screen. So you've got that option. Of course, you can slide it out to full screen, and you have the option to multitask like you would expect with any of the Note series or the Z Fold series. So you can do that with additional apps as well. Of course, you do have that outside display if you want to use that, and that's equally as awkward with this folded around the back. So it's really hard to use this with this case on. So I'm not sure you'd want to keep this on all the time unless you leave it open most of the time. So it's pretty nice that way. If you want to see a comparison between this and other phones, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. It does seem to wake it up though, so that's pretty nice. Let's see. It does wake it up with the case. But if you want to see a comparison between this and other phones, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below what you'd like to see it compared with. And if there's anything else you'd like to know about it, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Now, if you'd like to get your hands on this wallpaper, of course, I'll link it in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.